have to have a waiver. Because for those of you unfamiliar, the amount of funding and the increase from year to year depends upon whether we can have accreditation from the state.
New library guy.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Ryan Livergood, Library Director. I'm happy to report that we will not have to apply for a waiver. We are going to continue our accreditation to the state.
Excellent.
Thank you, Mr. Livergood. Anyone else wish to speak to libraries? Seeing none, the next budget was Health and Human Services. Who wanted to talk about that? Anybody? Okay. We're going to move on. Insurances. Someone wanted to speak to insurance. Mr. Chaput.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Roland Chaput, Precinct 12. On the insurance budget, I just have a question on expenses. There's an item called Federal Medicare Withholding. I'm sorry, my mistake. Federal Flexible Benefit Plan. There's a big bump, $50,000. There's got to be some kind of an explanation for how that went up so dramatically.
Mr. Chapdelaine going to tell us.
Adam Chapdelaine, Town Manager. Historically, that line has funded the flexible spending account for employees, whereby they put away money pre-tax to be able to pay for medical-related expenses. However, with the move to the GIC, the town town was allowed to and agreed to put together a health reimbursement arrangement, and that's the HRA acronym you see in the FinCom report, and to establish and manage through a third party the health reimbursement arrangement. There's a per subscriber fee, and that $50,000 is the payment for that per subscriber fee to administer the HRA.
And will we see this same thing every year now?
Correct. As long as the town has an HRA for employees, there will be that subscriber cost.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you. Anyone else wish to speak to insurance? Yep.
Hi, Linda Hansen, Precinct 7. My question on the insurance goes to the Healthcare Trust Fund, and I'm just wondering if that's somewhere else in the budget that I haven't seen. That's possible. But my question is around the current estimate of the balance from the previous self-funded insurance program that the town had, and just kind of thinking about, now that we're in the GIC, when we'll kind of get to the point where we've paid out all of the things that we need to pay out of there, and request that this number be included maybe somewhere in next year's FY14. On this page would make sense to me, but if there's a better place for it, that's fine too.
Mr. Chapdelaine, can you answer the lady's question?
Adam Chapdelaine, Town Manager. The current balance is still fluctuating based on run out of claims from the prior plans, the Blue Cross plans. However, the most recent balance I've seen was approximately $3 million. It's not appropriated because that trust fund contains funds previously appropriated and moved into the trust fund to be able to pay healthcare claims. And legally, those funds can only be spent to pay costs related to health insurance claims. However, I'd be glad to both share that number with you more accurately, as well as include that number in future year Finance Committee reports to see what the amount of those funds are and what the town's plans are to utilize those funds in the future.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Anyone else on insurances? Seeing none, we can move on to water and sewer. Who wish to speak to water and sewer? Mr. Jameson.
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Gordon Jameson, Precinct 12. Just a couple items. Now, remember back I talked about the revolving funds. In the revolving funds, we get a beginning budget, we get revenues, we get expenditures, and we get an ending budget. It would certainly be nice if the enterprise funds were presented in a similar fashion so we could get the balance sheet aspect of it beyond just the appropriations. I look forward to that in the future. I have a question about the interest income and miscellaneous. I haven't noticed this in the past, but there's a lot of interest. Does this mean that the water and sewer has a large fund balance that's earning all this money for us?
Mr. Toss, do you know, who has that?
Mr. Gilligan, perhaps?
No. Mr. Chapdelaine, do you know where all that interest is coming from?
Interest in miscellaneous, 113,413.
Adam Chapdelaine, Town Manager. My understanding, Gordon, is that that's not interest earned on reserves, but rather interest charged on late paid bills.
Okay, so that's why the water and sewer gets it versus the collector in the general fund.
Correct.
Okay. You might want to stay up, Adam. I know we just discussed the insurance budget, which had unemployment compensation and workers' compensation in it, but I find that again here in the water and sewer budget. I'm surprised we don't have the consolidated that. Is there a reason why they're not consolidated on the insurance budget? And if there is a reason, then why they're not offset against the insurance budget?
Should there be, Adam Chapdelaine, Town Manager, should there be workman's comp or unemployment compensation related to water sewer, those accounts would be charged as opposed to the general fund budget. But since the general offsets, as you see in the budget, are related to actual health insurance enrollments that we are certain of, that's why they're carried as offsets. However, here these costs aren't certain but need to be budgeted for, given that they could occur. They're contained in the water sewer enterprise budget.
One more, and then I'm done. We also pay, although I position it farther down in the budget presentation under 24 for Medicare, which, as I understand it, is a payroll tax, actually not an insurance, but that's where it is. Is there any thought about itemizing that in the water and sewer and offsetting that payroll cost against the insurance budget?
I guess I could say I would be willing to take a look at that and give it consideration of whether or not that would be appropriate to show an offset from the water sewer fund for that.
Yeah, so as background, over the years, as some of these items get bigger, and as you note, as people can note in the audience, on the previous budget, the Medicare number has grown substantially. I'm always interested in having the enterprise funds, which are supposed to be small, self-sustaining businesses, pay the full cost and not be subsidized by general funds, and that's the reason for the questions. Thank you very much, Adam.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Tosti?
One thing I just wanted to let you know, one of the recommendations in the Department of Revenue study dealt with the whole water and sewer offset program. They didn't like the way we did it. We had one meeting which we decided that probably the way we do it is how we want to do it, but yet on the other hand, we need to be a bit more transparent. So two of the things we're planning to do for next year is to have a separate page with all the offsets so people can see, how much money is coming in, how much money is here, how much money is distributed to all the other departments. So you don't have to go through each budget and sort of add it together. We're also considering adding the balance sheet balance at on the bottom of each of these enterprise funds. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Broadman?
Janice Broadman, Precinct 15. I'm just curious about the maintenance of storm sewer system. It seems as though it goes up significantly every year, and for 2013 it's a $100,000 increase, 131%. Is there some structural reason why that's happening? Anything we can do about it to reduce those costs?
Mike Rademacher, Public Works Director. The reason for the increase is the EPA will be enacting a new stormwater permit, which will require more significant testing of stormwater discharge to rivers and streams, as well as other periodic maintenance requirements, and that increase is in response to those new regulation.
Do they offer any kind of support to towns to do that?
None really to speak of, no.
Anything else on water and sewer? Seeing none, we're going to move on. The next one we have is General